Hey everyone, it's Laura A. Grace, and as you guys can see, I am with our special guest. Like, I am so excited. Guys, I love her books. Like, she writes manga too, but her books are just as amazing. So if you're ever like, well, I want to read a novel, check out her books. And if you're wondering who I'm interviewing today, it is author C.S. Johnson. Yay!
Thank you.
So, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Well, I think you did a pretty good job. Hi, everyone. I'm C.S. Johnson. You could call me CJ. I am not blackmailing Laura to have this interview, and I feel like I should say that. I'm just not that interesting otherwise. I have quite a few books out, and if you check them out and you read them and you don't like them, you can send me an angry email, and I'll apologize. So.
This is why you're so cool, CJ, because you're okay with telling people that. So, but hopefully nobody does. Hopefully no angry emails come your way from this. Well, to kick us off, what are 3 of your favorite anime?
Oh gosh. Okay. I feel like I should have this prepared, but I don't. I'm very old school with anime. I have a rule when I watch anything anymore because I've fallen into this trap, plenty of times, where I don't watch it unless it's all done. Okay. So all the ones that are probably my favorites right now are things that are all done and I don't have to worry about anything.
Right. That totally makes sense. That's like a good rule to have. I should take that rule for myself, to be honest.
Yes. So probably my latest favorite that it finished up a while ago, but I still like it. I like the Clamp, manga anime ones, and so when they do a new anime or something, I'll usually watch it. So I like there's Vasa Reservoir Chronicle. It's kind of like the introduction to the multiverse for me.
Yeah.
I liked Inuyasha's a lot. That's probably the one that sticks out from my teen years. It's half my life ago now.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's uncomfortable to admit. And then there are just a couple of other ones that I really liked. I really liked Sailor Moon growing up. I liked Blue Seed. I liked Vanguard was the first one that I wrote that I read and it was like the mecha robot thing. So that one kind of sticks out. It had a lot of interesting commentary at the time too, because it was like early 2000s and it was basically it was built on this premise that we had this dystopian kind of society where men and women were just monsters and men had to separate themselves from it. It was just really funny.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. I have not heard of that.
It's kind of like a cleaner harem sort of anime thing too, I think. So not bad. I kind of laugh at it now when I think of it. I'm just like, oh, maybe they were right. So.
That is so interesting. I'm gonna have to go look that up now because that sounds like a very interesting premise. A very interesting premise.
Oh, well, in the anime, they actually have it's the first 5 minutes where they do the introduction. I'm just sitting there laughing the whole way through. But I like satire, so it's funny to me. Some people would actually genuinely be offended right now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome. And I don't know, well, I can imagine some of those anime inspired you to write your own manga, which I have, A Knight's Quest for the Holy Grail. It's so shiny. I love it so much. Yes. So did you feel that any of those probably inspired your manga by chance? Well, I guess you answer that and I'll ask my other question.
Well, so the short story itself was inspired by me and my husband. We met at college, and I had a really kind of I was very introverted in high school, so I didn't have a lot of, I didn't date a whole lot, but my last boyfriend managed to crush my pride in addition to my heart. So when I came to college, I was very determined that I would not get married. I would be happy by myself, and I would do the good woman thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody who knows me now knows that's same person. Yep.
Yeah.
When people ask me if I'm a feminist, I always say I'm a reformed feminist. So
Yeah.
But I met my husband, and I ended up falling in love with him. When you tell God something, he likes to pancake you pretty well. So it's like, oh, this is what you think. Let me scrape you off, flip you up, and slap you down and rub it in your face quite a bit. God is the God of irony and the God of pancake flips to me. So
that's awesome. I love that. Sorry. Sorry.
I kind of knew that I wanted to marry him when he just started taking good care of me, even though I was having problems with adjusting. I'd moved 6 states away from my family to go to college at where we met, and I was kind of homesick, and so it was really hard to and I mean, like, I studied most of the time to kind of, and that pushed it back, but when we had breaks or like holidays or something, I would be able to tell that, like, oh, I'm depressed, crap, and I don't have anything to distract me.
Yeah, yeah.
He took good care of me, and he took me out for coffee, and he took me to the store. I didn't have my car at the time, and it was just really, really lovely how he took care of me, even though basically I was just kind of depressed and unable to kind of take care of myself on many levels. So that's kind of the short story is about a knight in shining armor taking care of his princess, and it's based on kind of like a real world situation where that's exactly what he did.
And I absolutely love that premise in your book. I mean, you delivered it so very well. And that's what I realized I should have asked, that this was originally a short story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you did. Now, talking about that, so I know you published a short story first, and then when did you decide that you wanted to make this into a manga?
I really like manga. I like the art. I like the prettiness. It is a very different thing to take like a written word and put it into pictures. And so when I basically got the nerve to figure out to try to do it, I was like, okay, I'll just try to do this. Like, I've been trying to find more ways to adapt some of my novels anyway. And I was like, well, it's better to start with a short story anyway, because most of the time when you go looking for manga artists and stuff, they will charge you by the page or by the level of the job, so to speak.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Well, so when you did that, I know that you have written scripts before. Did you write a script, like turn your short story into a script, or did you just hand it over to your illustrator as it is?
The nice thing about short stories is that they're pretty easy to write scripts for. I didn't have to do anything really hard as far as I said, this is kind of what the character looks like, and I okayed some of the designs, but no, overall I didn't have to do much storyboarding. I did have a couple of like different artists with some of my other work. Like, I had my one short story for my Starlight Chronicles turned into a graphic novel, and there was a little bit more on that. Like, I had to approve coloring and everything for that one and stuff. Okay. But it wasn't too bad. I like trying to find people that are okay with making it their own. Because if you really like something and you're really good at something, then you do a better job than somebody trying to come in and do the work for you. We actually have like the perfect illustration of that, like coming out like this past week with Justice League and the Snyder Cut and everything. So you can actually see the difference between the Justice League and the Snyder Cut. And there's a real difference when the artist has more control over the work, more kind of direction. When I had people adapt my work, I always kind of let them do their own thing and make their own interpretations. I mean, they were good people, so
yeah.
It's not like somebody's gonna try to make it more, I don't know, ugly.
Yeah. Well, I would say that's very, very fascinating. So you do, I guess, a basic script / storyboard, and then you hand it over and you just give them free reign, so to speak.
I've had good people to work with, though. I will say that. So there's nothing that I've ever like really objected to that I got back. I got really lucky with that, I guess. I know some people are very meticulous about how certain things should look, but like I said, I'm not really one of those people, because some things are always kind of lost when you adapt them anyway, if that makes sense. It's like, if you're going to lose a few things, at least lose the things that you would get hung up over that nobody else would.
With you talking about that, I have found the same to be true with my manga making, and seeing like added detail that my manga illustrator did that I didn't mention, but like enhanced it. Like, for example, she added in a unicorn, like a giant unicorn picture. And I was like, I never knew I needed this until you drew it. I was like, that wasn't in there, but I was like, it's perfect. Keep it. I was like, let's change up this bedroom setting, like how it, like the setting itself. I was like, keep that unicorn picture there in this panel for me. So I just love how the illustrator, how they interpret it and sort of do their thing, so to speak. But like before that, were there any sort of like requirements that you needed or they needed on hand before the actual process began or anything?
Not really. So the first thing that you kind of want to do when you want to make your book into a graphic novel is you want to find a good artist. I like working with my smaller work. I did actually hire like a graphic novelist to do the Starlight Chronicles, but it was just a very big amount of work. I mean, that's like 7 or 8 books now.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's a lot of work to like throw at somebody, even
yeah.
if you're paying them. So like if you have a longer book series, I would try to find multiple people who can work on it as like a group. Like one of my friends online, John Delaraz, he does that with a lot of his comic books that he does. And then graphic novels and comic books and manga are all kind of in that same vein of pretty much you're going to hire somebody to do the artwork for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I know he has like a colorist, and then he's got like a drawer, and he's got a couple of them going out at once.
Interesting. Now, when you did A Knight's Quest for the Holy Grail, did you have more than one artist?
No, I just had Fami. I found her off of Fiverr. I know people say avoid Fiverr, but it's like I'm just trying this out, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a short story. It's already been published. I mean, like, and it's my perma-free book, which helps. I think it's like even if you pirate it, I'm not making money anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But I found her off of Fiverr, and I really liked working with her. She did a really great job. It was between $25 and $35 per page.
Okay.
So, you know, and I got to pay it periodically. It took her about, I think, a year to finish, just because it was like 3 pages every 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, did she do all of it then, like the text, the inking, and everything?
Yep.
That was really neat. Now, with you sharing your story at the beginning of how it inspired your short story and stuff, were you nervous at all that like she might interpret it differently than what your heart wrote on page in the short story? Were you nervous about that at all? Because I mean, your story seems so personal, and I'm just like, I wonder if I'd be nervous having somebody have free reign over something that was really important to me.
Well, I figured she could only make me look better, so. It helps when you have really low expectations of yourself. The nice thing about letting them have more artistic control over it, and I will say like nothing in the storyline shifted or changed or anything at all. She's added some things like as he gets lost in the woods, you can see the different animals and the plants and everything and stuff. And it's like, I don't describe that in the book, but it's like, it's a forest, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you've seen a forest, you've seen them all. I liked that she had more artistic ability to do what she wanted, just because people who are allowed to make it their own, they notice things from their own experiences and everything else that can kind of enhance and heighten, you know, the quality of certain things. And like I said, I've never had a bad experience. I know there are people that have bad experiences, but I've never had a bad experience with my comic stuff. Other than, of course, like one person couldn't handle all 8 volumes of my work.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a series idea that's pretty long, and that has been like probably one of my biggest concerns to actually start writing it, is to find someone who would be up for doing all of that. But that's such a great idea that you said about your friend having multiple people work on it to help break up the work, because I can imagine that just is a little bit more easier for everybody all the way around.
Yeah, I haven't really made it. I like so this year I've been doing more audiobook work. I've gotten more books out on audio for my readers. I have some longtime fans that are just in hospice care, and a couple of them like have problems with vision, and so I've been trying to accommodate them on that end more. But I would really like to do more of my books in manga style and get more artsy fartsy stuff in it, you know.
Yeah, that would definitely be one of my questions later on, is if you would be open or considering writing more or publishing more manga.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love to do more. The big thing with it is I always have like 6 or 7 projects, and I like to say the worst thing about having 6 projects at a time is that you literally can't work on 6 projects at a time. Right now, I'm slogging my way through the last book in my current trilogy, and it's a heavier book just because it's historical fiction. So
Yeah.
you can tell.
Yeah.
When they talk about like the weight of history and, you know, the mystic chords of memory, it's like they're doing a BDSM thing on me right now, I think. So.
Well, like, as you're drafting your stories, since you have written a manga and a graphic novel or published both of those, have you found yourself at all like thinking like, man, this would be really cool in a manga format? And like, does that distract you at all from the actual writing of a novel?
Oh, it can. I think there's a place for everything. Very similar to the debate that many authors have about audiobooks. Should I make my book into an audiobook? And it's like, there are certain times when probably it's not needed. Like if it's not selling well, you can reinvest in it and in other ways that might make it more sellable.
Right.
Because most of it does come down to a matter of money. If I had all the money in the world, I'd have all the manga in the world too. So.
Yeah. I can totally 100% relate to that. Like so much. Well, what advice then would you give to an author who's wanting to turn their book into a manga?
The first thing I would say is kind of like start small. With any artistic endeavor, there's always kind of like surprise fees, I think, along the way.
Yeah.
And it can be pricey. I like my manga a lot that I have, the Knight's Quest and my Starlight one. And I love all the pictures that I've gotten made for like fan art for help for characters, because I do that too.
Me too. I love fan art.
Yeah, but it can be expensive. I mean, you're paying somebody basically for a portion of their life they're never going to get back. So you should pay them nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is something that I think that if it is really important to you, especially, you probably will end up paying more just by virtue of you want it to be the best that it can be, and you're going to share that with the world, so you want it to look nice. I mean, like most of people, I've transitioned from thinking of myself as a writer to more of an artist again, because I like books and stories that are more like a work of art in themselves than like a book. Yeah. I know that sounds weird, but I've read a lot of soulless books that are like, I'm going to write to market, right down to this cheesy generic line. Like they make fun of it in superhero movies sometimes about how I will destroy you and stuff like that. And it's the same thing can be true of books. It's like at some point it's like, oh, they got together in book 1, yay. Book 2, they have to be forced apart for some unforeseen reason because drama. Yes. And I've read some really soulless things, and it's like you can tell they just wrote this to sell it, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that per se, but when it's different from pouring out your heart and putting a lot of yourself into the book. I think that's why a lot of my stuff, people respond to it, is because it's more personal and it's more like a word child and a work of art.
Yeah, I was going to say I know one of my favorite things about your books as a whole is that usually you always have a note to the reader, and I feel like that yes, your stories are fiction, but you do apply or do share a real world aspect to it, and I feel like, okay, this is just deeper than just entertainment kind of thing. Yes, it's very good entertainment, I will say that for sure, but I do like how I would say real world touch, but just relatability, like, that you can relate to this story too, and I feel like it makes me able to relate even more to the story itself.
Yeah, well, I don't want people to waste their time, so at least they'll learn something, maybe. Even if they hate my work, at least they'll learn something. I used to be a teacher. I mean, you can tell. Yes, but that would be my advice. So start small, make sure you find what you want. Don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for adjustments. Like I said, I've been really lucky in finding people that will work with me. I'm very grateful for that. I mean, just ask my husband. Anybody dealing with me it's got to be worth their weight in gold. So you should know, because
so you're super awesome, and so I'm just like, you could try and front here with everybody, but I was like, I know you're super cool. So
well, I hang out with you. How could I not be super cool? Some of your residue leaks on over and it hides more of my flaws.
I have my own, so I can't say anything. Well, I have to wonder, with you saying that, of pouring your heart into your stories and whatnot, do you feel that affects your mindset of really allowing your illustrator to have just so much, like I said, free reign over your story, and them, rather than giving them strict guidelines of the art and the story itself, that you allow them to pour their hearts into it so that it can show in that manga format too?
Well, in this case, it's usually an area of expertise. Like a good example is my dentist. Okay, I had a dental appointment earlier. Woohoo! But I mean, my dentist knows what she's doing when it comes to my teeth. It's like it would be nice if I didn't have to get the cleanings and stuff and the flossing every. It's like, yeah, she knows what she's doing when she tells me, "Hey, you need to buy this mouthwash because your breath smells." It's like, okay, well, let me go pick that up right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is kind of like it comes down to a concern of expertise. I'm not a manga illustrator on my own. I'm not an animator. And while I do think that there are some things that, like, how to cut the corners better when you're an expert, if you, like I said, if you pay for them to make it emphasize the beauty and the story past their maybe perhaps their own personal preferences, it's a nice kind of like it's a nice partnership, and I think that gives them kind of like the security that, like, even if you don't like the work necessarily, the blame for it is more on you.
Yeah.
So they feel a little bit more comfortable making the bolder choices. Perhaps there is a place for being bold in art. I mean, like, that's like necessary.
Yeah. Well, since you have mentioned that you would want to publish more manga if redoing the process over again, where do you feel you would look for an illustrator and such?
Well, there's a couple of different options with this. A lot of there are a lot of different places you can look now. There's a lot more, I think, than what there used to be. DeviantArt is probably one of the older ones. I've known people that have gotten illustrators and cover artists and all sorts of things off of there. Actually, for my one cover, I had a DeviantArt artist kind of help it with something before, so I've only had good experiences there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's other websites. There's like Upwork and Freelancer and a couple more. Yeah, you have a lot of options. I think the biggest thing is just make sure that you're comfortable with the person. Like I said, I know a lot of people don't like Fiverr, but one thing I like about it personally is that it's like a go-between. They
Yeah.
can pick up on you. You can cancel. You get your money back. There's no kind of risk in it. Like I said, that's how I met Fammy, so I like that.
Oh,
There are a couple artists too that, like, even if you go on Fiverr, what they do, they have their Fiverr front, and then they have like a website where you can go and order more stuff, interact with them like that. Yeah, DeviantArt is probably where I would go if you really like more niche stuff. I think it'd be easy. Like, you get a lot of generic stuff on Fiverr. And then there's just Facebook and Discord. There's a lot of like social media groups that you can look for. Just freelancers in general. I know a lot more people are interested in it than they were when I was younger.
yeah.
I'm not even talking like 10 years ago. I'm talking like 5 years ago.
So true. And part of why I asked this because a few weeks ago I was doing how I found my illustrator, and I feel like just from a year or two ago, like there are so many more options. I mean, I feel like it's like a good thing, but at the same time it's almost overwhelming because it's like, who do you work with? You know, like there's so many illustrators now, which I mean, like I said, which is really awesome. But that's why I asked, because I was just curious if you would go back to Fiverr to look again, or if you would work with or try to work with your illustrator that you had before as well.
Oh, well, the other thing too, even with Corona down, like a lot of Comic Cons will have artists that go and sell their work, and you can usually find a good artist. Well, like the last artist I found was actually at Comic Con, and yeah, she had the booth next to mine.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
There are a lot of people that do a lot of art, and they do sell commissions and prints and everything like that. And so you can kind of look in different cons. I live near Atlanta, so we have like MomoCon and AnimeCon, and like we got a lot of more international stuff. And
Yeah.
it's funny because like the third largest language in Georgia is English, Spanish, and then it's Korean. So we have a lot of kind of like Asian culture down here with anime, and kind of like that distinct manga look that I like. So the shoujo and everything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely one of the best.
Well, you won't get any complaints from me. I like seeing it. So very
Yeah.
pretty.
Wow. So I guess for the next manga, if you could choose any of your titles right now and not have to worry about the finance aspect, which of your novels would you want to get printed manga yet next?
I don't know. I kind of like Northern Lights, Southern Stars. It's a standalone, so it wouldn't be that hard. Princess and the Peacock would be another good one right now. It's kind of shorter too, so it work into the whole starting small thing that I told everybody just do.
Yeah.
I do believe in following my own advice. I'm a mother. I kind of have to.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
No. If you're gonna tell your kids to do something, you better not. They better not catch you doing it. I mean, like, they better not catch you anyway. So.
Well, that was so helpful and just so informative hearing your process. And I think it's really cool with your manga as well that you have the short story portion at the beginning and then the actual manga.
I was a teacher before I was a writer. I mean, I've always kind of been a writer, but I stopped teaching a couple years ago when my kids came. The teacher in me still thinks, well, one person who will like it for this reason might like it for the other reason too. And my kids are starting to learn how to read right now. They're both kind of, in that kindergarten area. It's nice just having, so you can have them read the individual words versus the pictures. And they kind of get what the pictures mean and a little bit better, and it helps them. I taught English as a second language kids too. So that's the other reason I like it. It's like, it's not just for kids who are learning how to read. It's for people who enjoy things that might need a little extra help. acclimating to a new language.
That is awesome. Where can we connect with you on social media and read and we can read your other books too?
csjohnson.me is my website. I got a lot of links there. I have Facebook, Twitter, and Gab now. I am on YouTube sometimes. I did want to pick up my YouTube stuff again this year. My kids are growing up, so they take precedence. Especially when they're growing up so fast that it's like I blink and it's like they're learning how to read and
Yeah.
you know, like my one pastor said once that we're not raising kids, we're raising adults, and they turn into adults much faster than I think anybody realizes. So
I completely second that so much. So
yeah,
much.
it's my job to get them to be good adults, and I think that's the harder part. But
Yeah, it really is.
everybody sees my cat. Yeah, so follow me, buy my books so I can feed him. Obviously he's not fat enough. So
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely, guys, check out the Knight's Quest for the Holy Grail. Is it so pretty and shiny, and the artwork is just absolutely gorgeous. I need to go reread it, and I need to do like an official video review on my channel, because once it came in the mail, I was like, I forgot how much I loved this story. It's just like, look at this. Look, this is one of my favorite panels, guys. I absolutely love it. I love it. So definitely go check it out, everybody. And thank you, CJ, so much for chatting with us. Like, I love just what you shared. It was so informative and encouraging to me, and really excited for this. So, and excited for your next manga whenever it shall release.
Yes, well, believe me, as soon as I hit the lottery, I'll. No, thanks for having me on. I think it's helpful that my readers know that I'm still alive.
That is very helpful indeed. We are glad to know this.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm very introverted, so sometimes if I get off social media for a few days to work on the actual writing, it's like, do people like realize that I'm still alive, or are they worried? It's hard to say.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I have a few friends like that too, so I have to like nudge them a little message, like, you doing okay? Everything all right?
Yeah, see, and like I appreciate that because I'm the kind of person that'll be like, oh, I've been dead for 3 weeks, and oh, everybody's just finding out now. Okay.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Well, thanks again, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.
Oh, well, thank you. I got to spend some time with you, so already done.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed seeing you and being able to chat with you today. This has just been such a highlight for me.
Oh, well, thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Friends, I hope you enjoyed that interview with CJ C.S. Johnson. I absolutely just loved hearing her share. Just her experience was so exciting to me, and I hope that it encouraged you and that you maybe discovered or learned something new. Definitely go check out her manga. It is awesome, and I am just so excited, like I said, to go back and reread this. As a friendly reminder, remember this series will be on hold for the next few weeks, but I am so excited to come back and share all of the fun things with you guys and continue this video series. Remember, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and keep writing your manga. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!